Hey, welcome to Cares Everywhere. This is me, Anthony Brown, your host, aka the Ghetto Practitioner. Man, I am super excited because care is everywhere, and we carry care to California this trip. Yes, indeed, folks. I am back in Southern California, and there's nothing like being in a podcast place studio one more time with the infamous Solomon behind the scenes. And I dug up an old friend, yes, an acquaintance that I've known quite some time. I'm going to introduce you folks to Brett Coleman. He's a down to earth guy, man. He's really got it going on. I want to chit chat with him a little bit about some of the stuff that we have in common and some of the things that we might not have in common. But either way, let me introduce you to Brett. Hey, Brett, what's happening, man?
Hey, what up? What's going on, Anthony Brown? Glad to have you in town. And shout out to Solomon. What's up, bro?
What's up?
Yes, indeed. And so it's cool. And, being the ghetto practitioner, I like to stress to people the fact that, no matter where you come from, you can go someplace, man. And, we've been there, done that, and we're still doing that. And the biggest thing is, I want to talk about sometimes the struggle is real, but yet you heal. And the cool part about being the ghetto practitioner is that I want people to know where I come from so that they too can say, you know what, I want a piece of that. How do I do it? And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about getting a piece of that, particularly that, for my show, I'm a nurse,
Right.
and I'm a nurse practitioner actually, and I'm that guy that always dabbled in drugs now. Hey,
Yeah.
I got a DEA license,
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
What a complete turnaround.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
And it's really cool because I'm out there in the streets talking to other individuals, whether they just got released from prison, whether they're just getting their act together, coming out of treatment, wanting to do something more with their
Right.
life. And so I want to talk to you about that and some of your experiences and like what it took for you to get to where you are, and what do you tell other individuals, and how do you tell them that there is hope without being over without freaking them out?
Right.
I was trying to think of some therapeutic term to make me sound intelligent, but you know what? I'm just gonna wing it this afternoon.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
Right on the scene, if you know what I mean. I love it. Well, at first, to be able to transmit it, you got to be able to have some of it. Some
Okay.
transformation, as well as anybody that knows you on the Cares Everywhere or any of your story. It's an unbelievable story of transformation.
Mm.
And the main thing for a lot of people with addicts and alcoholics, we feel like we've lost so much and we're in such a low spot when we're getting early in our convalescing stages of recovery.
Ooh, I like
We
that.
don't feel we don't feel like we can get anywhere.
Mm,
And especially with us, like both of us that have an extensive criminal background.
mm.
And for me, it took a couple years of working on my sobriety and getting my new coping skills and habits and working the 12 steps. I'm a 12-step practicer.
Okay.
I believe it's the greatest design for living ever created. And I apply that in all aspects of my life. So after 2 years of living in a sober living,
Mm.
which was super eye-opening and a great place to practice the 12 steps.
A great.
Okay, sober living and early treatment centers is one of the best places to practice your new way of living. You're going to have a lot of opposition, but the person who was a manager of that sober living was a registered nurse,
Ah.
and
Okay. Okay.
he picked up a healthy meth habit working in the Philippines with the World Health Organization.
A healthy
Yeah.
meth habit.
Yeah, a healthy meth habit.
Okay.
So he didn't start off with all the addiction. But he ended up, he had other addiction, but he was running that sober living as a manager
Okay.
and drug diversion for the Board of Registered Nursing.
Ah.
So we became good friends. He was working a good program. I was staying away from any of the riffraff and had a spiritual awakening. And I was selling cars for 2 years. I had to sell something, I guess. I had been in sales.
Hey, you're a salesman.
Yeah, you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
I know you're a salesman too for like 17 years before that point. Always on the hustle, always doing that. But I was a single father.
Mm.
So I needed to get out of the hustle of working 3 out of 4 weekends a month. And I seen his paychecks and what he was doing, and he's only working 3 12s a week.
Okay.
And I needed a new career. I needed to stay away from the hustle. That had been an issue for me for 3 years up to that point of falling back on supposedly making the easy money.
There's no
And
substitute.
yeah, so he said, "Why don't you become a nurse?"
Okay.
And I was like, "You're out of your effing mind." I go, "You know my record and stuff." And he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "You put in the work. I'll make sure you get your license."
Nice.
And I was desperate enough.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Okay, 3rd and 7th step prayer. Build with me and do with me as I will.
Okay.
Let's see what you got, God. Let's see if you can turn me into a nurse."
Okay.
And so my journey began. And I went down to a Concord Career College right here. I was moving from the Inland Empire to Orange County.
Uh-huh.
And I took that test right there where I live now in my own house.
What kind of test?
It was just an entrance exam for the LVN. So I started off as an LVN.
you
I
was
couldn't do
LVN.
the first 2 years first and then get on my prereqs. I had to get working as fast as I could and get myself my new career. So LVN was the route.
Okay, now let's unpack that a little bit.
Woo! I know it's a lot.
That's okay. We're gonna unpack it. That's me.
Yeah,
You throw out the luggage, and I will open the bag.
All right, let's reorganize.
Open the bag. Okay, let me rephrase that. But what's fascinating, because you were saying that you were in sober living. Okay, and as to I, and sober livings do work, but there's a catch. You got to want to be sober. Okay, I mean there's
a lot of people ain't sober there.
Right,
too,
right.
so.
There's a reason why they call it sober living.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in this place because I too went that same journey. You know, when I finally had enough, you know, and my butt was kicked thoroughly. I threw in a towel. I couldn't deal with it no more. I couldn't live with it. I couldn't live without it, and I definitely couldn't live with me. And so I had no other alternative. And somebody was gracious enough to say, you know, we're going to give you a chance. And so I got to go into sober living, and I chose to be sober in sober living. I mean. The drug test and the breathalyzers helped out quite a bit. And I did get involved in the 12-step community, which is a design for living. I totally agree with you. That does change your life. But my journey into being a nurse is I was working, because my first job, I was a telemarketer. You know, and I was sharing that with somebody the other day about telemarketing. I'm like, well, how can you handle all rejections? It's like, you know what, man, the way I was treated in the streets, rejection was my thing. You know, it's like, give me something I ain't used to. And so I was able to be telemarketing. And finally, I got a job working as a janitor at this developmental hospital. And as a janitor, I was, you know, doing janitor things, cleaning toilets and all that stuff I knew. And I was seeing the way some of the patients was being treated, and I didn't understand, you know, back then, because I'm a behavioral nurse. And I couldn't figure out, why are you treating these people like this? You know, I had no clue, you know, that there was techniques in which you help modify behaviors. I had no clue. And I said, well, you know, that ain't right. And they go, well, if you think you can do a better job, why don't you go to school?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll show you. And so I went to school.
Went to school on a resentment. I love it.
On a resentment. And
those are the best. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good motivator. And, you know, going back into school, you start as an LVN. I started out as an LPT.
Right.
And it's really fast.
So you got working. I mean, LPT was a little bit quicker than an LVN, right?
Yeah. I got my foot in the door, and I remember
which is still doing, you know, the first semester of the LVN or the RN is LPT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's the same.
Get that traction going.
Yeah. Only difference is you guys go off and start working on GI stuff, and we go off working on the brain. You know, and it's really fascinating, because when I first started going to school as an adult, it was challenging,
right?
Because I wasn't young anymore. You know, I went to school at the age of 37. I just want people to know that no matter how old you are, you still can get educated.
Oh, for sure. People are doing it. It's the golden age of education.
It's the golden age, you know, and you're pretty much settled. And so I go to school not knowing even how to go to school, because I quit school in the 8th grade.
Doing it sloppy.
Yeah, I got my GED when I was in jail, just so you know. But it doesn't matter. But I went.
That's right.
And some of the classes was hard. It was hard. And so I went to LPT, you went to LVN. When you first went back to school, what do you think was the most challenging class that you got to?
It was brutal, man. When I got there, they gave me these huge books, you know, Foundations of Nursing, which was like so big. You know what I mean? That's a good 5 inches. Absolutely. And the rolling suitcase with all the books in it was so daunting.
Oh, yeah.
Everything from pharmacology to nursing to, you know, 101, gerontology, everything with it, basic fundamentals. And oh my God, I got that suitcase and I called my mentor like I did. Like when I first went to do that test, I came back the entrance exam. I go, Bob, I I don't think I did as good as, I don't think I passed. And he goes, I bet you did better than you thought you did.
Mm.
But I come from a family of teachers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, I mean, I knew I could learn.
Mm.
I was smart. But, at that point, I mean, I hadn't been to school since basically I was 18 and I'm 32. And man, I go, Bob, these books are huge. We always have someone like that in our recovery. It's like, bro, and then he's all, don't worry about it. They're going to spoon feed you the average education. You're probably not going to crack half of those books.
Right.
And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, it's probably going to be a lot more PowerPoint and lecture and stuff. And don't worry, you're gonna be okay. So thank God that I had him in my life and so many people like you and sponsors and stuff to just mellow me out. I didn't even know how to type into an address bar on a computer. You know what I mean? I grew up around hackers and all that kind of stuff, but that's when the people started showing up though. When the students ready, who showed up?
The teacher appears.
Man, a whole bunch of them did. And I'm still friends with them today.
Nice.
Yeah.
And let me throw a little disclaimer out there for you new nursing students. That foundation book will give you muscles. Okay.
Yeah.
That book is heavy. And it doesn't get any smaller. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a clue. Okay?
And if you want to go to sleep, start reading it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're still active in your disease, especially methamphetamines, look out for the different color highlighters because I'm just letting you know my experience. But that book, I ended up eventually in my career teaching school.
Yep.
And I understand the whole PowerPoint thing, but I highly encourage you, whether you like it or not, read the book. Okay. And I think it's, and I'm going to disclose, I'm in recovery and I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I love the 12 steps. Yeah. And, they always tell us, read the book. It's like,
that's right.
Why is it said? And they go, well, on top of page 113, it says those first 3 words.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Read this book.
Read this book. And so, get your education, get your foundation, go to school. If you want to go to school, we're going to tell you. And not just always tell people your actions speak so loud we can't hear what you say. Right. Not necessarily what we talk about or say, but what we do. Because we're going to get to the benefits of a higher education as we continue to talk on.
Well, I would like to interrupt on a little bit of that though, but when I was so wild and feral, like you coming in off the streets
calling me feral?
And stuff. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But right, we're so all over the place, but being able to start sitting in a meeting for an hour long and being able to pay attention and stay focused, that was the beginning of me being able to just be me and to be able to, I didn't really realize it at the time, but I'm like building that focus. So at the point after 2 years and I went back to school, I was able to focus. Sometimes I'd go to meetings three in a day and then read the big book. And I'd already done the 155 question 4 step, and worked all 12 steps. And I already put a lot of pencil to paper and I was I was getting that momentum that I didn't realize that I was building at the time.
Okay.
And then for me to sit down and start to focus for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, I didn't realize it, but I was already there, right? I could sit there and listen to someone, whether I liked them or not, or indifferent, and then learn.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And so the 12 steps, and it's really funny because at the end, I think it's the end of the 12th step, it says, and to practice these principles in all your affairs. And
I already have the coping skills.
And it's like, what an order. I can't go through that. Yeah. Well, yes, you can,
Yes, you can.
And it's fascinating for an addict. And I can talk about my own self. I have this mind that will just take in additional chatter from nowhere. I can sit still and my brain would just go, I'm like, well, how do you calm that down? And that's, why I pray and work with others and do all of these other things that we're probably going to touch a little bit on. But it's really fascinating because here we are, both of us with our similarities, been through what we've been through, experimenting out there, doing research and development the wrong way. And then we end up in the classroom. You're becoming an LVN. I'm turning into a psych tech. And we're carrying around that book, man, Foundations of Nursing is just, everybody gets that thing.
Yeah.
Everybody. So when you're going to school, and I want to encourage, not discourage, get a higher education. It's well worth it. Put the time in, A lot of times people get sober and go, what am I going to do? Go to school.
Yeah. Well, that's what I knew also at that time. I knew if I put this mind onto something that was going to be getting me out of this mind and then onto a goal. I knew that in nursing, the way it was presented, that you could always keep going to school. It's economy proof. You'll always have a job.
Always.
And you can always do so much within it. I believe that nursing probably is the widest bandwidth career path you can be in. And as you well know, you've been a nurse longer than me. There wasn't many men nurses back then, but now there's so much. My buddy Rich, who is also a nurse, when I went and seen him graduate a couple of years ago, out of 34, 17, half of the class was men. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, male nurses are cool.
Yeah. Well, they need us though, in a sense too, and it's been quite the journey of that aspect of it.
Okay, and so when you first got introduced to nursing school, there's a whole lot of newness. Okay, there's a whole lot of newness. Now, me, I have a brain of an alcoholic. I like more, bigger, better, shiny, brighter, and all that other stuff. So of course I had to go get a stethoscope. Not just any stethoscope.
You got the Littmans.
Well, of course. You think I did?
Cardio 5000.
Of course. Equipped with batteries, you can turn it up and you can pick up a fetal heartbeat. I'm not even listening to
you
a
can hear the ocean from Ohio.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't even try to whisper because I'm listening. And so you get all your gear and you're going. Do you recall what was the first thing you heard on your stethoscope?
I don't know. No, I can't. Probably bowel sounds or something.
Bowel sounds. It's always the bowel sounds.
You know what I mean?
It's always.
I wasn't finding. Listening to the lung sounds through the back and learning all the different. Probably the first time I heard any stuff was on a sound recording.
Okay.
In class, listening for the rails, bronchi, stridor, or whatever. That's all in there with the different breath sounds.
Okay. You try to find. The heart valves and all of that.
Right.
Like over somebody's chest and all that other stuff. Yeah, but the bowel sounds was easy for me.
Yeah, you can always hear someone's stomach gurgling.
Always, man. That
Yep. You can even hear them with a good enough one through the heart, so you don't even have to listen down here when you hear it gurgling. So.
Yeah, and so that was cool. Now moving, because we get, and I share this because it is exciting when you're a nurse. Even though it seems like nursing school is a boot camp. Because you're going to school, including clinicals, 5 days a week.
You're 110%. You have to be 110% dedicated.
110%. And as you move up through your classes, you get to do bigger and better things. Mitered corners.
Yeah, that was one of the first things you do. You miter the corners of the bed.
You miter corners, and it's really fascinating because that's a skill set. That's a skill set. And a lot of people, when we say miter corners, in case you don't know what a miter corner is, they used to call it a hospital corner.
Oh, okay.
And when you look at the bottom of a hospital bed, there's a triangle cut in there.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain type of fold in order to get that. And oh my God, I remember trying to make a miter corner and I couldn't get it. My instructor would just tear the bed apart again. And it's like, geez Louise, it come out too fat or whatever. But finally, every day in my entire life, I swear, when I go to bed, there's a mitered corner.
Oh, that's good.
Well, it keeps your feet in there.
They weren't too worried about the mitering, I guess, when I went to school.
Oh man, they were big on mitered corners when I went to school. And
what school was it that you went to?
I went to Cypress.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Cypress for psych tech.
So you're like born and raised Cypress.
Born and raised Cypress.
You just went through it. That's rad though.
It's nice. I love it. And shout out to all my Cypress peeps and alumni and all of that stuff. And I remember the mitered corners. Then I remember when I first got to get my first injection. And they allowed us to practice for TB with a hot dog.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating because to give a TB injection, it has to be right underneath the skin.
The bleb.
Yeah, and you have to create the wheel, know? And that was kind of interesting. And it's really fascinating because for those that know me, again, know where I come from, you know my background. I've been...
Yeah, he was making his own blebs.
Yeah, I was making my own. Well,
not blebs, but yeah, he was hitting the vein just right.
Yeah, but I didn't know nothing about sterile technique. But it's really fascinating because once we got to that part, I was comfortable with a syringe. Yeah. Where other people were shy and all that stuff. I mean,
who was to ever know?
Nobody ever knew.
Liabilities to assets.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating. So getting through all of that stuff, getting through school. Finally, when you graduated, how did you feel when you graduated from nursing school?
Oh man, it was good. It was also anticlimactic. Everything in my recovery and everything that I've done has been anticlimactic
Oh, really?
because it was so arduous to get to the point when it actually got there. For me to get my license, they reviewed it for 6 months,
Ah,
and I didn't know if I was going to get it.
you got lucky.
I know it's all God.
Yeah, it's all God.
It was God's ordainment. I didn't know because we both didn't know. Did you know that you were going to be able to get your license?
I did my psych tech went pretty smooth,
Right.
but my RN was a whole different ball
I know
game.
mine too.
And just to let you individuals know out there, if you have a background, okay, don't give up. Don't give up. There is, I believe, from my experience, they want us to get educated, but you have to show them that you can be trustworthy.
Right.
I know I have or had a criminal record, and they investigate it because when you
You
get,
have to show them everything because if they find something that you didn't show, then you're in trouble.
yeah, then you're in trouble. You lie.
Yeah.
You know,
You
And-
omitted.
yeah, yeah, and thank God for the 12-step program where I was taught, rigorous honesty.
Yep.
Because as I went through it, I'd write letters and tell them, like, this is what I did. This is what you're gonna find. Your fingerprints are gonna be your fingerprints.
Right.
And it's gonna
And they got a DOJ and FBI
and
record.
the FBI search on it, yeah. And so here we are. Okay, we done moved up a little bit from a psych tech, from an LVN. Now we're going into the RN stratosphere. A registered nurse, and then
Right.
it's really interesting because that's when you really start learning a whole lot of different things.
Well, as an LVN, I was lucky to get my experience. I worked everywhere in a hospital. I worked in ER, ICU, med surg, telemetry for 7.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the only thing that I couldn't do was push the button on the IV pole.
Okay.
I couldn't actually push it, but I would draw it, tape it up, put the name on it, and have my RN do it.
Mm.
And then I would do the other skills. So at that time, I was because the bandwidth for LVN is short.
Right.
For a lot of, so for me to work in the hospital, I worked with unbelievable LVNs. Now they've all been pushed out of the hospitals on those kind of floors, but I was completely blessed. I worked with LVNs that have been working in ICU for over 22 years. And man, I learned some serious skills,
Did you?
so either what was my options, as an LVN working in a SNF or working in different places or maybe treatment, which I did a little bit, or different psych units, right?
Mhm.
Or behavioral health. But I was able to get a lot of 7.5 years, almost 8 years of medical experience as an LVN.
Okay, and see, there's where I faltered because I went straight psych
Right.
my entire career.
You didn't falter.
Well,
That's what's so great about being
I
an LPT or nursing or the medical field.
I
like
love
that.
psych.
So do I. I'm a psych nurse.
I love mental health
I do too.
because it reminds me of me. Every day I get to go to work.
Yeah,
And I laugh because, I have been in locked facilities before,
Mhm.
but now I have the key to get out,
Right.
and it's really fascinating how when you look at it realistically, it all boils down to, especially when it comes to psychiatric illnesses, it's just a bunch of neurotransmitters going haywire. That's all it is, and a lot of people may not understand why different people present with different illnesses, but that's okay. That's what we nurses do. We communicate effectively and efficiently to other individuals so that they can understand exactly the nature of the problem so that they can be calm enough to be led into the solution.
Right.
And I'm sure the same thing happens with the medical side too. Individuals come in and they have high cholesterol. They have diabetes. And we get to explain to them, well, if we don't get control of this, then you're going to have some sort of heart disease. And sometimes as we even have to break it down to, why don't you do some modifiable things? Like change
We
your
got
diet.
solutions for everything.
For
You just got to
everything.
be able to apply it.
Yeah. Or allow us to find a way in which we can hit a level of communication in which you would comprehend.
Right.
And that's the joy.
Level of teaching,
A
which,
level-
that's another skill upon it.
Exactly.
To be able to communicate and have the personability like you do, you can't really teach that. You can foster it and get out of your comfort zone, but a lot of people just don't have it, or nurses don't have it. That's not a prereq of how, that you can be a nurse, but a lot of nurses just kind of stay in their zone
Yeah.
of wherever they are. and don't work on better communicative skills and working in their craft more sometimes that I've noticed.
Well, one thing
But I
fascinating.
mean, like I believe you when you're doing it, you're in there, you got this relatability, you look them in the eyes, and you can actually let them know and make them at ease.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you have the same thing, care and compassion. That's
Right.
what it's all about.
Mhm.
And what's really fascinating is because of the 12 steps, I learned how to communicate more effectively. I mean, all those times sitting there doing back east they call them leads. Out here it's just speakers,
Mhm.
and we get at the podium, we share experience, strength, and help. People laugh, we get cheered, people clap. It's like I feel good. My
Right.
my chest gets a little bigger you know
Mhm.
and it's really fascinating because after a while you become relatable and you can see a lot of the things that other people are going through that you've been through. When it comes to healthcare, everybody has a heart,
Right.
you know everybody has lungs. It's just, how do you explain the best way to take care of that, especially when people are ingrained of thinking a certain way. And so it's really fascinating how the 12 steps do help. Plus, my relationship with God allows me to feel more comfortable within myself that I can articulate a message that has depth and weight.
Right.
And so that's pretty cool. And so now you're an RN, you're able to draw up meds, you can flush a few lines.
Yeah, when I became an RN, it's kind of funny. All IVs were on me for
Ah,
6 months. So, I mean, at that time, it was kind of funny because I'd already been working in all the areas. So I was orienting for about 3 months, and I already know how to do it all. I mean, but the scope, I mean, I could hang blood, I could hang plasma, I couldn't hang IV antibiotics. But if I could, then that would kind of destroy the whole paradigm. Then everybody would be like, LVNs can do everything that RNs can do. But I think one of the saving graces for us to get our degrees at that point was that we would always be working under an RN.
mm,
So when I look back, when I got my LVN, they were more interested in who my sponsor was, the letters that were wrote,
mm,
and the people that had supported. So I had a lot of support. So, and they knew I was going to be under an RN
mm.
the whole time too, which I think was a lot easier. Maybe they might not have just given me my RN if I would have just dove 2 feet in, or face first or whatever they would say.
Yeah, yeah. And I had to establish that same track record because of my history. It was easy to get in LPT,
Right.
but once I went to get my RN, and I'll never forget because everybody in my class, even when I applied for the program, I had to contact the diversion board
Like contacted us.
and let them know that, hey, this is what's going on. And I never forget, everybody's all happy. Yeah, I'm gonna go from being an LPT to an RN transition program, all that stuff. And I'm all like, me too,
Yeah, but you were all there with other RNs too, though, because LPTs transfer in as second semester, right?
Right, right. But just
So
even going through it, not knowing if they're gonna give me my license,
we
because in the
didn't know.
beginning,
We took the faith jump.
it's all about faith. Because the diversion board would say things like, "Well, we don't know if we can give you your license or not. You have to
It
pass the
has to
class
be,
first."
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, "Wait, I gotta invest all this
But
money and
thank
time?"
God though, because if I would have known, because I got my record expunged, I went through everything. You can't see me on the level, but of course, if you go to work for a state or the police or for the BRN, they see everything.
Yes.
It does. Just because you get expunged doesn't mean when you pull up your DOJ, all that stuff's
No,
not
no,
there.
it'll show
It's
up.
there.
It'll show up. And I
So if I would have known that I had to show all of them, I think my buddy Bob knew and just kept on walking the path. And that's what's so great about people that have been walking the path
Mhm.
before us. They have all this faith. Now I'm able to have this kind of faith for other people because I've mentored other people to become
And
RNs
that's why we're here
with
today, just
records,
to make sure people
right? And I
hear
know
it.
you have, and you're well known in the community, and people, I'm well known in the community of people that have gone and done it. And my other friend, Rich, and then my other sister that I work with, that she's got 14 years, and she heard me sharing when I was 3 years sober in LVN school.
Mm,
And she was like, I want to do that.
mhm.
And other people have over the years. And I have another friend that's in your old alma mater right now, just going to be graduating LPT. And his dream
Nice,
was to become an RN. So
nice.
I'm his sponsor now.
Oh,
So,
good.
right. So when we want to become something, we get that person so we don't have to, bump our head on every little thing we go through, right?
Mhm,
Get
exactly.
somebody that's actually an RN and then how to get through it. And what's crazy these days, the last lady I know that became an LVN, She had a record and stuff. They let her test in 2 weeks.
Hmm. I had to wait.
It's a lot. Yeah. I had to wait 6
I
months.
had to wait a year.
And the craziest thing was everybody I worked with, they're all, when are you getting your license? That was like the major question. So it was 6 months, like, oh, well, they're still, doing stuff. They're all, well, you should call. They were madder than I was. I couldn't just tell them, well, I'm a fucking addict.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Because I kept my
like,
anonymity the first, 7.5 years.
I've been out there.
Yeah.
I've been out there in public. And I remember when I was going through RN school, I would go to a meeting and go, I don't even know if they're going to let me have my license. And they throw out one of those AA slogans, like first things first.
Right.
Take the next indicated step.
God didn't bring you this far and drop you off on your head now.
Exactly.
And you even had more barriers. You had been to prison.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I've been to jail. All that, believe me, it's extensive. But, I'd never made it to, graduating class.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you for not driving your life so low. Okay.
Oh, I had a good lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. I was broke. Okay. But anyway, either way, here we are sitting here now smiling because that's a road that we traveled and that's a trail that we set forth for other people to follow behind us.
It can be done.
It definitely can be done.
If you can do it and I can do it,
then anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. I suggest for anybody listening out there, there is no excuses. And what you should do though is, if you're an addict, alcoholic, or you're struggling or whatever, get that foundation first, work all 12 steps, then circle back.
Yes.
Then get in and see and start going to school a little bit, get a little traction, see where you're at. Started as an LPT, an LVN. You can dip in slowly but surely, get working while you do your prereqs. That's what I did. And then I dumped into third semester, from LVN to the transition program. My alma mater is Santa Ana College.
And that's where I get my RN.
Yeah.
Santa Ana.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. How rad. They're supposedly the most RN friendly program. Yeah. Which is really cool. I mean, everybody, I love it because I work in the hospital now, and our PCAs, our nursing assistants, are usually all in RN school.
Okay.
So we get to talk a lot about it and everybody's journey because, that's a kind of a hot topic, right? What are you doing next?
Right. What's the next thing? And it's interesting because once you get into this field, there's so many different routes you can go.
It's unbelievable.
So many different routes. Not just in different areas. You can go off into cardio. You can go off into respiratory. You can go off into, if you want to do something with the skin and learn different diseases and things like, you can go off into psych.
Education. Utilization review. I know people that have just ran call centers. That's it. They ran call centers they've never actually worked bedside nursing. They've only worked utilization review or some behind the scenes stuff.
And so here we are, still growing.
Yeah.
Now you're an RN. And you took it to another, what's out there in RN?
BSN.
BSN.
And I knew that's where I was going to stop. Well, at least get to. I had to at least get to there. Everybody, the new trajectory is to at least get your BSN.
A BSN.
Right.
Okay. And where did you get your BSN at?
I got it through Grand Canyon University online.
Okay. I got mine at, where did I get mine at? Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, you went to brick and mortar?
Yes, I did.
I knew it. Yeah. Well, you got to do it.
I just got to do it.
Well, at my work where I work now, after a year, they have a tuition reimbursement, so they paid for it.
Somebody paid for you to go to school?
Oh, absolutely.
In the healthcare field?
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen,
yep.
You heard it here.
Usually at any hospital, they'll give you some kind of tuition reimbursement or whatever.
Okay.
And starting off with my schooling, I had FAFSA grants, everything, Board of Governor fee waivers.
All of that.
The RN program at a JC is only $5,000 for 2 years, basically. It still hasn't much changed. And even LVN is only like 10 more thousand than what I did 20 years ago.
And that's interesting because back in the day when I was running and gunning, I smoked up that much.
Oh,
so I might as well go ahead and utilize it to something to enhance my knowledge and grow my career.
Exactly, and it's been an unbelievable career. 20 years now. So I got that BSN, and at my hospital, it's called a magnet hospital. So 80% of the people working there have to have their BSN.
That's what magnets do.
And then everything got switched around, and we're coming up on our fourth magnet certification, and most hospitals struggle to get their second. So people that were in higher level positions and stuff that had been there for 20 years, and nurses kind of more towards the out of the door than in the door, everything had to get shifted around. Because if you didn't get your BSN, then you weren't a part of that 80%, and you were bringing down the main goal of what the hospitals can get and achieve for that kind of level. So everybody knows now that it's BSN.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really fascinating because when you look at the history of nursing, LVNs really came around during, I think it was World War II or something. Because before, you used to have to go to school for 4 years to become a nurse. And then there was such a shortages, they needed to be able to get nurses out quicker.
Thank God for that shortage.
Program. And now it's reverting back to, because when you look at it holistic, at BSN is 4 years. I mean, we did 2 years to get the RN, then you do 2 more.
The prereqs were brutal.
They were brutal, wasn't it?
Oh.
I remember, and I went to a meeting crying about it. I failed statistics 3 times. 3 times.
Oh my God.
And I would go to a meeting, it's like, oh my God, I failed statistics. I'm like, that's okay, keep coming back.
Yeah.
You know? And then they told me a secret. Why don't you just take the same instructor? Because you already know what they're teaching.
So you get a tutor too.
Yeah. And so I finally passed statistics, and, you know, I got my BSN. And
because you went to a brick and mortar, my statistics for online was only a 6-week class.
I don't like you anymore.
I know.
I don't like you anymore.
It was amazing. And you know what's crazy is I never took, should I say this on the podcast? I never took a history class.
How dare you?
Never.
How dare you?
Is that crazy? How did that happen? I wasn't going to come up to him and say, hey, I didn't, do I need to take another class?
My alcoholism is going to kick in. That ain't fair.
Review his license.
Right. And so,
but my pathway for journey of education was absolutely brutal. I'm tapped out. I told myself after my BSN, I wasn't going to do anything more as education towards my career. Nursing's one that they always want you to do more.
Yes.
And they're always wanting you to do clinical ladder stuff or something educational wise. So everybody's on the up and up kind of thing. And it doesn't really, depending on where it is, you became an NP. That's great. You can do this whole nother level of practicing, but you can still practice as a nurse and do stuff too. I know a lot of people that still practice do their RNs and do other aesthetic nursing, and it's so crazy.
It becomes versatile. And I did continue to go to school. I went back to school and got my master's, and now I'm a nurse practitioner. And it's really interesting because, again, my whole thing is I want people to see how far you can go no matter where you come from.
Right.
You can go. I mean, you can go back and get your MP.
You're breaking chains.
Well, you know.
I mean, what was the highest level of education in your family?
Oh my God! I think maybe high school.
Yeah.
That was it. And I was the only one in the family that dropped out of 8th grade.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I got my NP. I love practicing. I really do. Out of all the different things you have learned in school, what do you think is one of your favorite tools that you've picked up in all your career? I can tell you what mine is, but I want to hear yours.
Wow, that's a great question. Just the overall understanding of the body.
Okay.
I mean, just the overall ability to assess. You know, depending on someone's gait or how they're breathing, clubbed fingers, buffalo humps, whatever, you know, all these kind of things, or just a slight yellowing, maybe a jaundice. It's just the ability to fully kind of diagnose somebody just by looking at them. You know what I mean? How many times have we done a head to toe on people?
Oh, Jesus.
Just without even thinking about it, I'm doing it.
And it becomes second nature. You kind of like walk around with it.
It's just what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And I like the favorite part of nursing is assessment for me. I mean, I love assessment. There you go. And especially on an NP level, because we need to figure out, you know, what the diagnosis is and what it might be, a differential diagnosis. And so I love that part. And now I'm going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over reading labs.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm just like, oh, okay, that one's microcytic. Then that might be iron deficiency anemia. But let me run this test. And it's like, and sometimes I sit back because I know where I come from. And I will never forget where I come from. Okay. Even though I'm practicing in the healthcare field on this level, deep down inside, I cannot forget that I cannot take a drink.
Right.
because that drink will kick off that whole phenomenon of craving. And next thing you know, it's all gone.
It's all gone.
Because even though I do, and I'll disclose, I got 27 years of sobriety.
Right.
Okay. But that doesn't mean nothing if I take a drink, you know? And so that's really important.
It's just so mind blowing.
It is. It's not.
But the amount of information of how you shouldn't take a drink and why people drink and it is off the charts now. Yes. Why it's a disease and why it should be categorized, and them knowing only a little back then and then relating it to an allergy. And then what we know now is concrete proof for addiction is mind blowing. And people still have no idea what we're doing.
That's why they have
nurses. It's so crazy.
That's why they have nurses, man.
Right. They have the big ASAM conference down in San Diego. Are they all sitting around wondering why it's a disease or debating why it is? No, they're trying to figure out a whole put it together way with this unbelievable disease, how we can get the whole mind, body, and spirit, basically I would say the unified field theory for addiction to apply to the deadliest disease that man's ever known.
And most alcoholics and addicts don't even know,
They don't even know what the problem is. A lot of people don't even know what their problem is. At least we do.
Right. and I'm grateful that there are several of us out there in the field with this back knowledge.
Oh yeah.
So that when we do treat people, because when people come in for pain relief, we're able to educate them on that to help try to curb that addiction. Because right now there's a big old opiate thing going on, and people are dropping like flies.
It's crazy.
And
a lot less fentanyl right now, and a little bit more of the black is back.
Oh, is it?
I'm seeing, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. And so, with all this education we got, okay, and the cool part is, what do you do with it? There's more to just working at facilities, and you're an entrepreneur, from what I'm gathering. Well,
I work on things,
Yeah, you work on things, and so I wanna bring up this new thing you got going on. Okay, I don't know the proper terminology, but I'm sure you do, so I'm just gonna call it something newfangled.
Yeah.
Now explain to us what that is.
This is recovery time links. This is the way to never forget how far you've come. This is a new way to display your chips. It's really simple. You can take it right here. You can see everything, and they pop in and out just like that. Okay. So you can take your chips. There's no way to really have a display, and they screw together in the background. This is called recovery time links. So you never forget how far you've come, because everybody with all of their achievements, like this one right here, showing a 9-year display, have them in a box. All your greatest achievements, right? 27 years.
That's what mine is.
And then we have our invisible recovery. We got them on our keychains. I got it on my keychain, my 20 years and stuff like that. But now you have a way to have a display that grows with you, customizable. There's so many different variations, but this is the first version that doesn't exist. The patent has been accepted. And we're super proud to show it to the world.
Now, let me make sure I got this right. You have recovery time links. That's what it's called? And you have a patent for it.
That's right. It was just accepted like 2 weeks ago.
Now, back 20-something years ago, did you ever think that you'd be creating stuff like this?
Back in my early days, I used to have all the magazines and stuff with all my ideas on them that other people took advantage of. I just couldn't do it. I was so addicted to meth for so long that all my ideas, I watched other people, multimillionaires, even billion dollar ideas, I wasn't able to capitalize on.
Okay.
So now that I have the 12 steps, after I got my BSN, I told myself I was going to only work on my creativity because of this idea was one I had 15 years ago.
Okay.
So, and then I was only going to work on my ideas. I wrote a script, a TV streaming series, and that's how we became friends.
Yes.
And you told me, well, you should get on a podcast. So I started a podcast, and, I've just been only working on creativity. And in my career field, our career field, there's always someone offering you another job, more education, or do this. And I have been very staunch on just working on the next indicated step with my. So this has been always in me: entrepreneurship, creativity, inventions. So I could think of 4 or 5 ideas while I'm thinking of one, but I had to grab one.
Right, and finish it.
And there's more stuff in the background. So
okay, well, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
One thing, and a good friend of
Thanks for
mine.
letting me plug it though, real quick.
Oh man, you know
So if
what?
anybody in his podcast or whatever, just reach out to Anthony or us, Recovery Time Links. You just mention his name, we'll get you a discount. We're going to be sending him some. I mean, you can only imagine what his 27-year display would look like, and he deserves that for his home.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
make
look at those accomplishments.
I'm gonna
that
make
you
a
got.
chandelier out of it.
Yeah, right. You can. The ideas are just off the chart with what people are already doing and stuff. It's crazy.
And again, I want to dovetail off of that or add a little bit to it. The fascinating thing about having the courage and the foresight to just take that step out there, you know.
I'm telling you, man, we've been doing it super messy.
Yeah, but the beauty is you
We
have
just
a
keep
safety,
doing it.
you have a safety net. You have
I
a
know,
nurse.
right? I know. Yeah, you got the safety nets. Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit.
and stuff.
Yeah, don't quit.
You know, I make really well money. So do you. And your testament to faith and what you've been doing with Brown Manor and starting your own paradigm shift for treating people, we're on it. I work with a lot of people that are in recovery, the doctors that are in recovery. We're the ones that came from the bottom up and in the middle of society, in these big money places, in these unbelievable hospitals. We're the ones that are asking questions about.
Exactly.
We're the ones making decisions. It's mind blowing that I'd be sitting there on a desk of people with other NPs and doctors and anesthesiologists and upper management and people and entrepreneurs and benefactors and, man, right? And you're from the park bench to Park Place.
I know, Park Bench to Park Avenue.
Avenue.
That's my book, folks. Don't forget to get
Park Bench to
Park Avenue, available on Amazon. And don't forget to get its sister's book, The Ghetto Practitioner.
Right.
It's remarkable reading. It just shows basically how you can overcome almost anything, no matter where you come from, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what people have told you. You still can make it.
Yep.
If you want it. And we want to, I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate
you're in town and you reached out and said, hey, I mean, why not? You've been on my podcast a couple times. To be on yours is an honor. What we're doing here, I mean, we're changing shit.
We are changing.
We were tapped out. I was burnt, bro.
Burnt.
You know what I mean? I was so flipping tired of starting over. And someone hit me up at like a meeting or within that 3 years when I was trying to work. He goes, "Ain't you tired?" And being a meth amphibian for 17 years, I was flipping tired, bro.
Is that some sort of fish? I know that's what you do when you put too much on.
Did you turn into the thanks to modern science, you don't have to eat or sleep again. Exactly. And man, have I been tired since and doing everything messy? But we've been doing it messy.
But we've been doing it.
And then it coalesces at some point and it's not so messy. I mean, is it hard for me to be an RN or a nurse or to do physical assessments or to teach people about the body? You want to learn about your higher power. You want to learn about something, the miracle machine, start learning about the body and how the body works. It's mind blowing.
Oh, how the body interacts with the spirit.
Whew, that's another level.
A whole different topic.
Yeah, that's the metaphysical level of mind, body, and spirit, man.
Yeah, just even thinking about that just makes me go,
yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, we're quantum beings having a spiritual experience, having a human experience.
Oh, watch out, folks. He's starting to talk big again.
Let's go.
Next thing you know, he's going to be throwing out some terminology that I had no idea, and I'm going to look at Solomon and go, okay.
Yeah, put it. Solomon will pull him up, man. He's on it.
Okay, folks, we're gonna come to a closure. We're gonna land this airplane, man. It's been a smooth ride. It's been great, just flying high again, but not actually being high, but just being out there, up there, and sharing our experience, strength, and hope, as well as our education journey with you individuals out there. Tell us one more time, how do we get a hold of your recovery
time links?
Recovery time links. How we get hold of you?
It's easy. You just go on to recoverytimelinks.com. Simple as that. You can all see us on too, which we're a sister podcast, is a Super Sober podcast right here with Solomon, who does all the work for both of us.
That's Solomon. Solomon he's the unknown hero, man. Yeah. He doesn't say much, but he does a whole lot.
Yeah, man. You want to go from zero to podcast, man. You come down and see Solomon.
Oh, speaking of podcast, man, how about Podcast Place?
Let's that's right.
Well, if you want to get some recording done, you want to be a smooth operator, come up to where it's the smoothest. Come find Solomon over here in Long Beach, man.
Yeah. When we did podcast number 11, it was me, Rich, and Anthony right over on the other set. All three nurses from addiction to nurses. And it's happening, man. You want yourself a great career and helping other people, very challenging, very challenging, but very rewarding.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. So again, we're going to land this plane. Don't forget, you can tune in. You can go to the website at anthonyharbrown.com. You can find us. Just Google Ghetto Practitioner, Google Brown Mentor. You get to see what's happening in that homeless program that we're developing in Ohio. The books From Park Bench to Park Avenue, Ghetto Practitioner. Look out. Here we come. Till the next time, this is Cares Everywhere, and we are glad that you're with us today. Love you. Peace.